Hello, welcome to today's class. Today's class we will discuss macro preprocessor statements. We will continue this discussion on macro preprocessor statements in the next maybe 2 or 3 class also. So today is the first class on macro preprocessor statements. So far we have seen what are the different parts we have in a macro definition. We have seen that a macro definition consists of a macro prototype statement, and it has one or more model statements, and it may have macro preprocessor statements. Macro prototype statement we have already seen. Model statements also you know what it means, but macro preprocessor statements we have not seen, and that's what we will discuss in today's class. So macro preprocessor statements, they are used to perform auxiliary functions during macro expansion. So at the time of macro expansion, they may be used by the macro preprocessor to do some functions, and we will see what these functions may be. So we have some advanced macro facilities. So these advanced macro facilities, they allow us to alter the flow of control during expansion. So at the time of macro expansion, we can change the flow of control. These advanced macro facilities, using this we can also define some expansion time variables. So we can define some variables that will be used at the time of macro expansion, and we can make use of the attributes of the parameters, the actual parameters. So we can make use of the attributes of the parameters. So out of this, so all these three facilities, they help us to support semantic expansion. So in today's class we will see what is semantic expansion means, and in today's class, out of these three, we will actually look at how to alter the flow of control. The next two, expansion time variables and attributes, we will look at in the next class. So for altering the flow of control at the time of expansion, there are two features that allow us to alter the flow. The number one is sequencing symbols. So the first is sequencing symbols, and the second is expansion time statements like a if, a go, and a nop. So let us look at the first thing, sequencing symbols. So sequencing symbols are defined by putting it in the label field of a statement in the macro body. So we have to put the sequencing symbol in the label field, and the sequencing symbols are used as a operand in a if or a go statement to designate the destination of the expansion time control transfer, and it never appears in the expanded form of a model statement. That means it will never appear in the expanded code. So after we expand the macro call, the code that we get, in that code the sequencing symbols will not appear, and it has the syntax dot followed by a string. This second point, it will become more clear when we look at one example. So this is what is sequencing symbols. Then a if statement, the syntax of the a if statement is a if followed by an expression followed by a sequencing symbol, and this expression is actually a relational expression. So when we say relational expression, it will evaluate to either true or false, and this relational expression will involve ordinary strings or formal parameters and their attributes, or we may use expansion time variables. Again, this will be more clear when we look at one example today. Now the meaning is that if the relational expression it evaluates to true, then expansion time control will be transferred to the statement containing the sequencing symbol in its label field. AGO statement, the syntax is AGO sequencing symbol. So here we don't have the relational expression, we only have the sequencing symbol, and it unconditionally transfers expansion time control to the statement containing the sequencing symbol in its label field. Then we have ANOP statement. The syntax is sequencing symbol followed by ANOP, and it simply has the effect of defining the sequencing symbol. So now let us try to understand this sequencing symbol, AIF statement and AGO statement, these three things, using this example. So in this example we have a macro and we have the main program, and in the macro we define a sequencing symbol. So this is one of the sequencing symbol and this is the second sequencing symbol. So in this macro we have two sequencing symbols, and see how we define it. We define the sequencing symbols by putting them in the label field. I think you already know that the first column is the label column. A, B, C, these are all labels, and similarly sequencing symbols are also defined by putting them in the label field. And how do we declare? We put a dot followed by the name of the sequencing symbol. So dot only and dot over. So these are the two sequencing symbols. Then we also have a AIF statement in this macro, and I hope you already remember what the syntax is. The syntax of AIF statement, it will include a relational expression. So this is my relational expression, y equal to x, and the relational expression will be followed by a sequencing symbol. So that's my AIF statement. And now what's the meaning of this AIF statement? The meaning is that when y equal to x, if this relational expression evaluates to true, then expansion time control will be transferred to the statement having sequencing symbol only. So the control will be transferred to this statement which have the sequencing symbol in the label field. So if y is equal to x, then control will be transferred to this statement. So we'll directly go from here, we'll jump from here to here. So we'll skip all these 5 lines and directly go from AIF to this line. So that's the meaning of this AIF statement. We also actually this slide is a mistake, so ignore this slide. So we also have a AGO statement, and if you remember the syntax of AGO, it has only a sequencing symbol, it don't have a relational expression. So this is the statement AGO statement, and in this AGO statement we have the sequencing symbol. And what is the meaning of this? Oh sorry, just a minute, this slide is not a mistake actually. So what we are saying that if the relational expression evaluates to true, then we will go here. But what will happen if this evaluates to false? If it evaluates to false, then we will go to the mover statement, to the next statement. So sorry that comment is not correct. This slide is not wrong, it's correct only. And what it is showing is that if y equal to x evaluates to false, then expansion time control will be transferred to the next statement. So I will not jump to only, instead I will go to the next statement. So that was the meaning of this slide. So now we have AGO's statement. In AGO, this is the sequencing symbol. And what is the meaning of AGO? when I come to this statement, we will directly jump to the statement having the sequencing symbol over. So it should jump to over. So we'll go to this line. So we'll skip these two lines in that case. So as you can see, if is like conditional jump. Based on the result of a condition, I will either jump to this place, I'll either jump to only, or I will go to the next line. So where will I go from if depends on some condition. So this is like a conditional jump. Whereas go, it's not based on any condition. If I come here, I'll definitely go to the statement having over. So I'll definitely go to this line. So this is like unconditional jump. So if is like conditional jump and go is like unconditional jump. So now that you have understood all the three things, all the three new things, sequencing symbol, if statement and go statement, we can try to perform the macro expansion. And to do the macro expansion, we need to map the formal parameters to actual parameters. So these are the formal parameters we have: x, y, z. We got this from the macro prototype, and the actual parameters are a, b and c. And since these are formal parameters, x will map to a, y will map to b, and z will map to c. So once we have this mapping, I can now try to do the macro expansion. So to do the macro expansion, I will just copy all the lines just below the macro prototype statement. So we have if. So starting with if up to macro end, I'm just writing those lines here. So we'll start macro expansion at the line after the macro prototype. That means we'll start macro expansion using starting at if. So if I am trying to calculate y, I am trying to see whether y is equal to x or not. So since y is mapped to b and x is mapped to a, and this becomes b equal to a. And here we are just doing equality test, and we are doing the string comparison. So we are not looking at the value of b or the value of a, we are just looking at the two strings, and we want to check whether this string is equal to this string or not. And obviously they are not equal, so this evaluates to false. And if it evaluates to false, only when it evaluates to true, then only we will go to only. But here it evaluates to false, so we will go to the next line. And that completes the processing of if statement. So if statement is done. Now we are at this line, move r, and because we jumped to move r, and in move r we need to replace x by a. And after we are done with this line, we will go to the next line, subtract, and in subtract we need to replace y by b. And once we are done with this line, we will go to the next line, add, where we need to replace z by c. And after we are done with add, we will go to move m, the next line, where we need to replace x by a. And after we are done with this statement, we will go to the go statement, and go is go is like unconditional jump, so we will jump to over. So from this line we will go to over, which is the macro end statement, which means I will skip these two lines, which means I don't need these two lines because I'll jump over them. So these two lines can be removed, and I will jump to macro end statement. So that means we are done with go statement, so I can remove go statement, and now we will process this line. And since this is the macro end, the expansion of the macro will stop. We are done with macro expansion, and at the end of macro expansion, these are the 4 lines we got. So what did we see is that in the expanded code, your if statement or the go statement, they will not appear in the expanded code. Even the sequencing symbols, they will not appear in the expanded code. So these are present in the macro only to help the macro preprocessor at the time of macro expansion. So in the final expanded code, only the model statements will appear. The macro preprocessor statements, they don't appear in the expanded code. So this is the final code we have after macro expansion. So now I can just remove the macro definition, I can remove the macro call, and in place of this macro call I can put these 4 lines, new 4 lines, and that's my final program after macro expansion. Now let us try to do this macro expansion for a different macro call. So let's say we have a macro call eval a comma a comma c. So instead of a comma b comma c, we are using a comma c, and let's try to do the macro expansion for this macro call. So again we do the mapping of formal parameters to actual parameters. This time x will be mapped to a, y will also be mapped to a, and z will be mapped to c. So with this mapping we can try to do the macro expansion. Again I have copied these lines here just for me to show you how the macro expansion will take place. And this time for the a if statement, the relational expression becomes a equal to a, because x, y is also a and x is also a, and these two strings are equal, hence this will evaluate to true. And if the result of the relational expression is true, I need to jump to dot only, which means I need to jump up to this line, which means all these 5 lines I will skip them. From here I will directly go to only, and these 5 lines, so I can remove them. And once I jump here, I am done with the a if statement, so I can remove the a if statement. At this moment I am at this line, and in this line I have to replace z by c. And after finishing this statement I go to the next statement, and in the next statement I need to replace x by a. And after that I will go to the next statement, which is the macro AND statement. So that will end my macro expansion, and at the end of the macro expansion I have generated these 2 lines. Again you see that we only have model statements in the final expanded code. We don't have the preprocessor statements or the sequencing symbols. So now that we are done with expanding the macro call, I can remove the macro definition, I can remove the macro call, and in place of this I can put these 2 lines, and this is my final code after the macro expansion. So what did we see? We saw that for this macro call eval a comma b comma c, this was the code that was generated. And now if you try to understand the macro, what the macro is doing, it's actually calculating a minus b plus c. This code that was generated is actually calculating a minus b plus c. Just to me to explain how it is calculating a minus b plus c, look at the first statement. It is putting the value of a into a register, so your a register will become equal to a. Now the next line, I am subtracting b from a register. The current value of a register is a, so if I subtract b from a register, it will calculate a minus b. So your a register will now have the value a minus b. And now when I go to the next line, add, we are adding c to a register. The current value of a register is a minus b, so if I add c to the value of a register, it will be, the new value of a register will be a minus b plus c. So as you can see, the macro is actually calculating it's evaluating the expression a minus b plus c. Now for the second example that we saw today, we had the macro call a comma c, eval a comma c, and we said that the macro is calculating the expression a minus, in this case b is a, so it is calculating the expression a minus a plus c. So now we could have used these same 3 lines to do this calculation also, and in which case the expression would have been move A to A register, then subtract A from A register, and then add C to A register. So this is a valid code to do this calculation, but as you can notice, A minus A is 0. So if A minus A is 0, this expression A minus A plus Z actually becomes equal to C. So instead of using this code to calculate A minus A plus C, I can just copy C to A register. So what I mean is, when the first two parameters are the same parameters, we don't have to do this calculation. I can just put C into A register, because the first two lines here will anyway evaluate to 0. So instead of having 3 lines to do the calculation, I can do the calculation using only 1 line. And that's what the macro is doing. It's looking at the parameters that are passed, and if the first two parameters are not the same, it generates this code, and if the two parameters are the same, it generates this code. So the macro is a slightly efficient macro that can decide what code to generate based on what parameters are passed. So what we saw is, for the macro call eval A comma B comma C, these are the 4 lines that are generated, and for eval A comma C, these are the 2 lines it's generated. And this kind of expansion is called semantic expansion. So semantic expansion, it implies the generation of instruction tailored to the requirements of a specific uses. It can be achieved by a combination of advanced macro facilities like AIF, AGO, and expansion time variables, and is characterized by the fact that different uses of a macro can lead to codes which differ in number, sequence, and opcodes. So we have already seen this. We call the same macro 2 times, and each time different code was generated. So that's the meaning of semantic expansion. And other than that, we can have lexical expansion, and lexical expansion implies the replacement of character string by another character string, and this happens when we replace the formal parameters by actual parameters. So when we are doing the macro expansion, we are actually replacing the formal parameters with the actual parameters, and that can be called lexical expansion or lexical substitution. So that's the end for today's class. In the next class, we will talk about expansion time variables and attributes of formal parameters. If you have any questions on today's class, please post your questions through Piazza. Okay, thank you.